it's Miss Wendy again. I'm going to show you guys a weaving project, which is going to be in the next box that we do for everyone so they can do art at home. So let me tell you what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a weaving loom piece like this. This is your loom, and then you have to string your loom. So let me show you the best way to do this. So you'll get some yarn, and the yarn will be, you'll get different colors. One color will be for the strings that are going up and down on the loom, like this one right here. The strings are going up and down. That is called the warp yarn, and it is the basis for your entire weaving. And weaving is very simple. You can also make it as complicated as you would like. You can use as many colors as you want. You can even use other things besides yarn. You can use ribbon, like in this one. So let me show you how to warp the loom. So you'll pick one color, is what I usually do. I will take my loom board and I put a short piece about halfway down the back, and then I use a piece of tape to fasten it to the back. And then after I've done that, you want to make sure you pull it fairly tight, not so tight that the board starts to curve like this. I've seen that happen, and you don't want to make the board curve. So we'll just wrap it up through the slot, down through the slot, back up, down. Let me get some more yarn out. And you'll go back up and down and up and down, around, until you get all the way here. Then I put my scissors up. Oh, no, here's some scissors. You will cut right here. And then if you wanted to, you can just put a piece of tape right there like that. I'm gonna grab a piece of tape. Here, any kind of tape is fine. If you don't have tape, you can tie it. You just tie a simple square knot right here. Just tie, crisscross, just like the beginning part of tying your shoe. And then you could do it again, like a double knot. And then pull it like that. And that will work also. If you don't know how to tie knots, just go ahead and stick a piece of tape right down on here. Even first aid tape, you know, would work if you have that. Whatever you can find is fine. So then that is your warped weaving board. Now, before we get going any further, since we're talking about warp and the boards, if you would like to make your own warping board, all you have to do is take any piece of cardboard. On each end, you're going to mark every ½ inch, or you could even do every ¼ inch. I did ½ inch, mark, 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 mark. And then you do the same thing at the other end, which I've already done for you. So you guys don't have to watch me remark all of the board. And then you would cut each slot just about a ½ inch in. It doesn't have to be very far. And this will totally keep your yarn on the board. So what you would do then is the same thing I just showed you, except your cardboard could be as long as you want. It could be this long, it could be this wide, it could be this wide, however big you want to make it, and however much yarn. And then you would just do the same thing. So I would put it through the first slot, put some tape on. When you have a really wide loom, then you really do need to tape it, because it's going to be a while before you can get the other end. And then you just, once again, the same procedure, except instead of going through these nice little openings here, you're going to be going through a slot that you cut in the end. And you don't want it to be wimpy cardboard. You know all those Amazon boxes that have been coming to your house, probably? Like they have been to mine coming occasionally. Just cut one of those up with some scissors, or get your parents to help you cut it, because sometimes cutting cardboard is hard. And then you would just make yourself a loom that way. And you can reuse these over and over. All right, so that's gonna go off to the side. I just wanted to show you that in case you don't have one of these, that you can use some cardboard. All right, so weaving. In your weaving kit, you are going to get one of these sticks and a fork or spork and a plastic needle. I'm not sure if your plastic needle is going to be this color, but you will get some type of plastic needle to help you weave. So that being said, I'm going to take this weaving that was started by another student, and I am going to use my spork to push down the yarn so that it looks nice and neat. Okay. Let's see. So, well, let's move back to this. You can pick your yarn color that you would like. I'm going to go with navy because you'll be able to see it very easily. So I'm just going to pull off about that much yarn. It's maybe like 2 yards. Okay, 2 yards, just for you guys who don't know, 2 yards. An adult can measure 2 yards going from the tip of their fingers and their nose. That's about 1 yard right there. 1 yard, 2 yards. So that's about 2 yards. That's a good way to measure your yarn out. You don't want to get too much, because otherwise you'll see why in a minute. You're going to be pulling and pulling and pulling, trying to get your yarn done. So what you need to do is you need to, this is called the eye of the needle. This little hole in your needle. This is not sharp at all. You're going to put the yarn through the needle, and what I suggest you do is you tie a knot in the end. So if you crisscross it like this, can you see the crisscross? Then you pull the yarn, the short end, down and around and through, and then you just tighten it like that. That should be enough. That should be all you need to do to tie your yarn to the needle. So to get started, weaving is has been around for a very, very long time. The very simplest way to do it is to go under, over, under, over, under, over, and then under again. And then what you want to do is you want to do this. This is my little thing that I use for all my students. I say pull it, pull, 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 pull it all the way until you have a little tail about that long. It could be a little shorter. Okay? Then you're going to want to push it down with your fork. You can also stick this in here. So I'm gonna go over, under, over, under, over, under, over. I'm gonna leave this up here. Now watch what I do when I go back. So this stick actually acts like it'll lift up all of the strings that you need for this next row. So you can just go right through all of those strings, pull, then you can let it down, pull, 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 gently pull, and then what you want to do is once you've got it there, you want to go and make a rainbow shape, and then you can go ahead and push it down with the stick. Now, do you see how you have this little loop here? If you have that, you can give it a gentle tug, gentle, so that it doesn't pull this string like this. You do not want to pull the string in like that. All right, so then we pick up the needle again, and because we came out on top, now we want to go under. Now, this stick is not going to help us for this one, okay? Actually, it can. If you turn it up like that and just go under, under, under. Is that gonna work? Nope, that's not gonna work. So for this next row, you don't use the stick. So because you came out over, you now must go under, under, over, under, over, under, over, under. And then we pull, 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 pull. Make sure the little tail doesn't get caught in there. Pull it, make a little rainbow shape, okay? Then you can still use this to push it down because you want to push it as close to the other yarn as you can. Because what you're doing here is you're making fabric. Do you see how this is fabric? It's starting to be soft and woven, and it's how fabric is made. So once you get to the end, let me show you how you're gonna finish it off. I'm gonna do it with this. So what you'll do when you're done, okay, this student has his string taped onto the back because I think it was getting in his way. All right, so you've got ends that you need to weave in here, all right? So you will take your needle. I just untied. It's very easy to untie it from the yarn, from the needle. And you need to do what's called weaving in the ends. And what I do is I just put it through the needle, and then I just go, let's see, it's coming out over here, so I'm just gonna go under, over, under, over, under, over, under, and then I'm just gonna pull it through there, and it's just gonna disappear into my weaving, and then I can just cut it off over here, and the other yarn in the weaving will hold it in place. So I want to do that to all of the yarn. If your yarn starts looking like this, you can also twist it back to where you need it to be to get it through the eye of the needle. You want to make sure you get all of the little parts of the yarn in there. Okay, and then you can tie it if you want, or you can just start weaving in under, over, just until you get to the other side, and pull it, pull it. Make sure you don't pull too hard. If you pull too hard, you'll start getting things like this happening, and you don't want this. So just pull it back until it's right. It's nice and straight. Take the needle off, cut the yarn, and that one's good. And you'll do that with every single one. I'm not gonna do the other two just for time. Okay, so now that's the front. Now on the back, what I do on the back is I cut right in the middle. Then I very gently hold it back over, flip it back over. And then I have my strings. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strings here. So I can't tie every 2 string, well I can do every 2 strings together, but right here in the middle, if you have an odd number, I'm going to take an odd number of strings and I'm going to do this kind of knot where I wrap it around my finger and I cross it over. Does everybody see that? And then I will bring all 3 of those strings through. And then I want to make sure that that knot stays right up there by the weaving. And then I'm just going to pull all 3 strings until it holds that in place. And then I'll do the same thing here. So I'm going to cross it over, bring it through the back. Then I want to hold my finger right there and my thumb, and I want to pull until it's nice and tight. One more time. So that's what it looks like. And then we push it right up there. And then that should never come apart. And then you'll do the same thing with the other side. The only difference is these strings are really long. Kind of came undone because I didn't have it right up next to where I cut it, but that's okay. So again, we have 7, so I'm going to evenly divide them up. 2 here, 2 here, 3 here. I'm going to tie these 3 together, crisscross, pull all 3 through. Then I'm going to make sure I hold my fingers there so that the yarn gets tied right next to the weaving. And I do these 2. You could do each one if you wanted to. If you wanted to, but that's not really a good way to do it. This is the best way. At least 2 strings tied together. And then you have a little weaving that can be turned into a bookmark. And then you can trim your strings however you want. So I think I'm gonna cut mine to about here, like that. Maybe about the same. Let's see. I could evenly fold it in half to see about where I need to cut the other side. And I would go snip, snip, and snip. And there you go. You have yourself a nice little weaving. And it can be a bookmark. So if you're tired of looking at an electronic device, read some books, use your new bookmark. And you can have fun making your bookmark.